I have to say, I was telling Chloe before everyone popped on, I loved this movie so much. I watched it yesterday.
Meg, stop.
It just like honestly, it was such a joy. I was cracking up. I also felt like it was just perfect. And I just want to say congratulations and happy Tribeca Film Festival to all of you.
Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to start with sort of a big question, but I do feel like it's apropos for this film, which is when did everyone fall in love with storytelling? It can be,
Wow. I'm obsessed.
Meg, what the hell, girl?
I know.
I didn't know.
It's one of my favorite
2:30.
questions to ask because honestly, I feel like everyone has a different answer. It can be in any medium, but when did you first get that like butterfly feeling? You're like, ooh, this is something special. I have to be a part of this world.
That's a great question.
I feel like Rachel should go first.
Yeah, Rachel, our director, writer.
Our queen.
I think as a kid, I always wanted to be a writer, and then I got into movies like in high school in a big way, and I wanted to direct movies. And then I did a lot of other stuff in between then and now before I figured out how to actually direct a movie. Yeah, but early, yeah, definitely.
I remember seeing TV commercials and wanting to copy the voices they were doing and like make everyone laugh by doing the voices. There was this ad for this chocolate bar and it said soft caramel chocolate in a British accent. And I would go around my house going soft caramel chocolate. And that's when I fell in love with it.
That's beautiful.
I think for me, it was probably like the first time I saw a movie. I've just loved movies my whole life, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I'm gonna, I guess, have to answer it this way. My dad ran a theater when I was a child. So I spent every day in a theater from when I was born to 13. So I just thought that that's what adults did for a living.
That's so
When I
funny.
was the option, I was like, he's doing it, she's doing it. Do you know what I mean? It's like not only like storytellers, but I just thought like the only jobs available for adults were like you're either on stage or you're like in the box office or you're the girl that does the hair, you know, like it's those were the available jobs.
Right.
For sort of
Sometimes
aiding.
I feel like it's true.
Yeah. Aiding to the experience of a story. But yeah. So yeah. But I remember realizing, one time my dad's theater, they were doing a play and an actor from ER was in the play.
Ooh.
And then I went home and I saw ER and he was in the TV. And then I realized, I was like, fuck. You know, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he is telling a story.
Yeah.
Like, this gets bigger. This gets bigger and better. And wow. Yes. Yeah. I love that. Well, thanks for sharing, guys. I want to talk about imposter syndrome because Rachel, you said in your director's statement, which I loved, by the way, that the film expresses your imposter syndrome. I think as creatives, we all feel it. And perhaps if you're not feeling it, that's kind of bad. And I would love for everyone to talk about their relationships with imposter syndrome and like learning to live with it rather than cure it or get rid of it, and how it sort of, adds to the creative fuel in a way for everyone's experience.
I agree that Kat does not have imposter syndrome. She's the most confident person I've ever met.
Well, it's not even that. It's more that when I get to be on set with all these amazing people, I'm just like, oh, this is what I was born to do. This is what I was meant. I was like, this makes perfect sense to me. Not that in that sense, like, and I'm like, I should keep doing this. But
Agree.
I'm sick in the head, so don't listen to me.
Yeah, imposters.
No, please, Ruby, go ahead, please.
Imposter syndrome is a complicated one. I think it's like it can sneak up on you. I don't necessarily have imposter syndrome all the time, but the moments I've had it, I think they're like moments in which actually you can, this is like a very honest answer, where you can actually like, if you actually lean into feeling like an imposter a little bit, you can actually like make some cool stuff happen. Like you can sort of like get freakier, get funnier.
Right.
There's a benefit to feeling out of your element.
Totally.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
I think
fear is fuel. Fear is fuel.
There's a little alchemy there. Like I do think that there's a little bit of a magic in imposter syndrome. Like a lot of the time for me.
I mean, I think
go ahead.
Creating your own stories, when you're creating stuff, you need to lean into the skid, right? And if the skid is like not feeling confident in yourself, like that's where stuff is wise.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry,
I get like crazy imposter syndrome like all the time. There's like, for me, it's like most of the time imposter syndrome, and then the occasional moments where I'm like, this is what I was meant to be doing, and this totally makes sense, and how can I ever do anything else? But I am all the time, I'm like calling my friends and being like, you know, somebody like left me this comment on Instagram and they said that I'm a terrible actor, and now I believe it, and I'm gonna quit. And I say that all the time. It's true.
Well, you're a superstar, and I will say, even though I said that I don't have it, nothing gets to me quite like an Instagram comment. So I feel you on that. Yes. I will question everything about myself because a stranger says beep boop bop.
Yes. Yeah. Same. I believe like every DM, every comment, and like it's weird how I believe that the mean ones, but then the nice ones, I'm like, they're just saying that because they feel bad for me or something.
100%.
And that's all this imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating thing, but it's like the more that I feel like the more that I interview, you know, actors and creators as creatives such as yourselves that I admire, like everyone is sort of suffering from it. And it's so funny at the end of the day, because you're like, from the outside perspective, everyone is thrive, like, you know, it's really an interesting thing, I think. And Rachel, you kind of really in a fun and hilarious way kind of explore that in this film with these two characters that should have it, but like clearly don't. They go into this journey to create this play, which was a fascinating take on the whole thing.
Thank you. Yeah, they're on that chart. You know that chart where like the more you know about something, the more you think you know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very beginning, you're like really confident. Like they're like right about to go over the cliff. Right?
Exactly. I love how the film is sort of this love letter to New York City and living so closely to one another in this like such a unique way. Rachel, can you first talk about kind of exploring that fine line between curiously observing thy neighbor and like full-blown voyeurism? Because I feel like it's natural to kind of sneak a peek, but it's at a point where it goes too far. And then Kat, how this kind of curiosity to like ultimately obsession kind of creates such a shift in Valerie. If you guys could speak to that.
I don't know that I know where the line is between like taking a healthy interest in your neighbors and being obsessed, because I'm deeply involved in people who do not know my name, and I don't know their names, and I've made up all this backstory for everybody that lives in my building. But I do think that's weird, a thing that I do. So I wrote that into the script because I think I recognize that maybe that's not good.
Well, I think that mirrors social media in so many ways, because there's all these people that I like keep tabs on everything they do. They know nothing about me. I'm obsessed with them. I'll text my friends about them. It's like, what is my problem? I'm unwell. So I think we're all kind of peeking into each other's windows via our phones.
Right.
Go off. Yeah. And I think I definitely so much relate to Val becoming obsessed with her neighbors in lieu of like addressing her own issues. Like anytime I'm anxious about something, I know that it's not really about that. I'm like, girl, what's actually going on? Like, I'm a total hypochondriac. So like today I was like, my leg feels weird. And I'm like, oh, should I talk about my leg feeling weird all day, or should I like focus on what I have to get done?
Right.
And I do
Also,
want to
like,
put in the interview, my leg feels weird. And if anyone knows about that, reach
for
out.
sure.
No,
I'm
sometimes
gonna
you just
text
have to like
you
get it
later
out
about
and
that.
say the leg feels weird, and then it can kind of
It's feeling odd. It's feeling odd. Yeah.
right.
But also, like, I love the trope of in film, like, of the neighborhood. I mean, like the like Rear Window, right? Like of like the neighbor catalyzing the film, and it sort of like being the ultimate metaphor for like sexual inadequacy and sexual tension. Like especially in and you know, like Jimmy Stewart has this like hot girlfriend who and his leg's broken. Do you know what I mean? Like obviously he can't have sex with her or whatever. And I think there is that in French Italian too, that there's like this sort of underlying like the neighbor so often in film, yeah, represents like some sexual dysfunction or tension, which I love.
That's so true. That's so true.
Yeah.
It's like you have this couple that, you know, we don't see really sexually interacting as much. They get along great. They're kind of they're best friends. They have this very like sort of like, you know, peachy relationship. And then there's this like these neighbors that fight all the time and like are
and their entire like erotic world like becomes like imagining what their life is like,
right.
you know.
Right. It's like very fan fiction-y.
Yeah.
And I also feel like too, it's like it's so funny when you were saying Rear Window, Ruby. I was thinking too, like I think we all have this kind of like hero complex where we're like,
yes,
what if there's that like I have to say like, oh, I could save my neighbor from this crazy woman who's like there's this they're putting ourselves in like kind of the hero position, which was really fascinating to see too. There such a little complexities going on in this film, which I love. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know that y'all are so busy, but last but not least, and kind of circling to the first question of falling in love with storytelling, and since we're at the tribe, whether we're there or not there, but since we're at the Tribeca Film Festival, can you all talk about sort of creating community within independent film and why that's so important, and to continue kind of the love and that spirit of storytelling, how that's how it all began, you know, with this spark and this magic, and how independent film can really keep that alive in a lot of ways. If you'd all like to speak to that and want to sort of, you know, how independent film means to you, and you know, as you expand your careers.
Oh my God. I mean, it's literally the greatest joy of my life. Like being in this like church we filmed in, like sitting in the dark backstage every day for 12 hours. I was like, this is the happiest time of my life. Like, you know, this business can be so stressful and so disheartening. So when you get a call from someone like Rachel, who's so talented, and she's like, I'm making this movie, and I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. And our amazing producer, Miranda, who just made it happen. And I was like, we all just made this happen without waiting on anyone to say yes. And it was just like, it was so joyous, and like on set, like I have not laughed that hard in a million years. We just had the best time. I just felt so lucky, and I just hope to keep making movies like this my whole life. I feel really happy that I've got to be a part of this.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I find that I've done a lot of independent film, and I really like to keep in touch with like every single person that I make an independent film with, because of the fact that you just start to, I don't know, like once you know people and you get along with them on set and you're easy to work with, they like want to work with you more. And like, again, like Kat said, I want to do this for the rest of my life, and I want to do like literally like any movie that appeals to me at all. You know, I want to just keep doing movies no matter what the budget is or anything, you know. I just find it to be so fun. And like with independent film, there's so much more freedom that you have, because they're not like, it's not like some of these movies that are like so specific. You know, a lot of independent film, like for example, on French Italian, we were able to do like improving, which I really enjoy. And we had a lot of freedom with our acting, which is always really fun. And I think it makes for something very funny and very easy to watch and enjoy.
Absolutely. That's exactly how I felt watching it. That playfulness, that's exhilarating in a sense, because you don't get that often watching film. Yeah. Rachel, I'm sorry, were you gonna say something?
You all just said some really nice things about the movie, making the movie. I mean, community is everything for indie filmmaking, because movies they're art, but they're also commerce, and it's so hard to find the people who agree with you, like where that line should fall. And so like finding people who want to collaborate on your work is the primary challenge for making the kind of film that's not like looking to make a buck, not that we're trying to lose money, but it's not the primary goal. So New York has an incredible community of artists who work in motion pictures, and really couldn't make this movie without like spending the last however many years like meeting everybody who also wants to make this movie,
And this movie is going to make a lot of money, I think.
Yeah, me too. Definitely.
I love that. I freaking love that. Yeah,
that's why we do it.
That's why we do it. It's like community is why we do it. It's like Kat was saying too. It's like this business can be so disheartening and challenging, but really at the end of the day, the history of this industry, whether it be the studio systems or otherwise, it's like it's based on friendships, it's based on alliances, and independent filmmaking, I think more and more becomes just it's a world of small communities and families and teams that make these films, and it is really the beauty of it. And like I would be like dead in a ditch without like communities. Like truly, like who would I be? Where would I be?
I know. I hate being alone in my apartment. I'm like, get me somewhere. Get me somewhere.
I just like, and just making films, especially on this film, it truly was so fun. Just the most ecstatic, truly the most like one of the most ecstatic experiences of just like relentless laughing. So who would I be? Where would I go? Where would I be? No,
I mean, like I said, I absolutely loved it. And I want to thank you all for kind of giving me the gift to just escape and, for an hour and a half and be completely tuned in. I watched it on my laptop and I was still so connected to the film. And I watch a lot of stuff. I watch a lot of movies, and it's really rare to just feel like it can be completely transported and just kind of, it was a beautiful sigh. And I just want to thank you all for that. So
thank you. That's really kind.
That's so nice. Thank you.
So thank you for the first one to say that.
Yes, and enjoy the premiere. I know it's tomorrow, and thank you so much for your time today. I love all of y'all, so this was a treat, so thank you.